Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to begin. I want to thank everyone for joining today for DWSD's third annual Construction Business to Business Opportunities Workshop. We will try to answer all questions. If by chance we run out of time, you will have the opportunity to email us, and we'll give that email at the conclusion of the event. But it's DWSD-publicaffairs@detroitmi.gov. Once again, we'll have that listed for you at the conclusion of our program. You can also email the presentation that will be presented today will be on our website. And the website is detroitmi.gov/DWSD. We will also have that listed at the conclusion of the event for you to take note. If there's no other further questions, we can begin. And we hope that you enjoy the presentation. First, we wanted to find out who's in our session today. So we have a bit of an icebreaker question. What Michigan County or US region is your company located in? So just quickly submit your answer. All right. Just another couple of seconds and we'll end the poll. So it looks like great. The majority of the businesses are located in Wayne County, 64% of you. That's awesome. Also, you were emailed earlier today an agenda. We will follow the program as listed. You will hear first from our Deputy Director and Chief Engineer, Ms. Palencia Mobley. We'll then go through an overview of DWSD's 2021 construction season, followed by an overview of the Drinking Water and Revolving Fund, followed by a presentation by the City of Detroit Office of Civil Rights, Inclusion and Opportunity, followed by Workforce Development, Labor Union, and then we'll end with the Prime Contractor Spotlight. Again, we welcome you and we hope you enjoy the workshop this afternoon. I would like to bring our Deputy Director and Chief Engineer for the Detroit Water and Sewerage Department, Ms. Palencia Mobley.
Thank you, Tiffany. So as you all know, this is our third year having this contractor forum, and really the entire intent is for you all to network and meet each other. This year we've had to do it virtually, and this is bigger than just projects we do as DWSD. Of course, we want to provide you information on projects that we're doing, but you may have a project for another municipality or even for the private sector in which you are looking for someone to do a certain type of work, and you just haven't been able to find, let's say, someone who's doing hauling, or maybe you need someone for demolition, or maybe you need someone who's doing plumbing. So this vendor fair is really just a way to get you all to also meet each other and find out what other small businesses are out there that may be able to assist you as you move forward in your varying contracting endeavors. So as many of you know, DWSD is in the business of water and sewer infrastructure. We replace water mains, we line sewers, we construct green stormwater infrastructure projects. And with the changes to the lead and copper rule in 2018, we now are responsible for replacing lead service lines from the water main all the way into the property. And since 2019, we've invested more than $20 million in our capital improvement program. We've constructed 11 bioretention gardens. We've replaced or lined 41 miles of sewer piping. We've replaced 43 miles of water main and more than 600 lead service lines. I think it's important to note that prior to my leadership in the deal with the Great Lakes Water Authority, DWSD on average was updating approximately 3 to 5 miles of water main per year and another 3 to 5 miles of sewer per year. and was not meeting its requirement related to its green infrastructure program in the NPDES permit with the state of Michigan. Under the capital improvement program, we did something we haven't done ever before, and we did a neighborhood project. And I mean, you go out to Southfield, our friends that stay in Southfield and other suburbs, when a project is done, it's typically not just water main replacement. It's going to be water main replacement complemented with some road restoration by the road department, or they have even talked to their other utility partners, such as Consumers Energy or DTE, to see if there's additional work that is required. But it's also done on a neighborhood scale. So it's not, a street on the west side and a street on the east side. It's an entire neighborhood. And we've adopted that approach here with DWSD. We thought it was critical. A lot of work that had been done in the most recent years, though it was the oldest infrastructure, it may not have been serving the most people. And it was in a lot of places where there weren't necessarily a lot of people just because of its age and the history on the number of breaks. So we began to incorporate other information in our analysis for what we needed to do, and that included population. And that also allowed us to look at neighborhood scale projects and get a much better understanding of where we could get the most bang for our buck. So based on using that data, we began this construction season, which was last construction season, summer 2020, with our North Rosedale Park and Cornerstone Village project. So we have one project on the west side of Detroit and one project on the far east side. These are 2-year projects that cost us about $45 million. Prior to doing the work, we did assessments of the infrastructure. And I think this is critical because there are contracting opportunities that exist in the assessment phase. So maybe you know how to do leak detection and C-factor analysis for water main assessment. And so there are contracting opportunities there for professional services. And then there are also contracting opportunities for our sewer assessments, which include doing televising and potentially some cleaning to get that televising work done and coding those sewer segments. We do everything digitally now, and it's uploaded to our geographic information system using a software system called Innovise. And so, we're out of the business of having a bunch of pieces of paper that we trail around with. On our 2 CIP projects, OAKMAN is the prime contractor in North Rosedale Park. And the North Rosedale Park is both water and sewer work bid together under one contract. And Lakeshore Global is the sewer contractor in Cornerstone Village, and OAKMAN is the water main contractor in North Rosedale Park. And so I'm going to let Tiffany bring up the next slide, which is a video on our CIP program.
In June 2019, DWSD launched a $500 million program to begin to upgrade the water and sewer systems. To fund the program, DWSD is leveraging the Great Lakes Water Authority annual payment of $50 million to lease the water and wastewater treatment facilities. DWSD began neighborhood-wide assessments of water mains, fire hydrants, sewer lines, and other water and sewer infrastructure. On March 5th, Mayor Mike Duggan, Councilman Andre Spivey, and DWSD announced the first 2 neighborhoods in Cornerstone Village on the east side and North Rosedale Park on the west side. Shortly after, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, in response to the COVID-19 outbreak, issued the Stay-at-Home, Stay-Safe order, which halted construction. In mid-May, construction fully began in Cornerstone Village and North Rosedale Park. In the 2 neighborhoods, based on the assessments, DWSD contractors are replacing and lining water mains, replacing fire hydrants, and replacing and lining sewer collection pipes. The projects are a $44.3 million investment in the 2 neighborhoods. On water main construction streets, the contractors are also replacing lead service lines where they exist. Each neighborhood also includes a green stormwater infrastructure project to improve stormwater management and reduce street flooding. If you live in one of these neighborhoods, send your email address to receive updates. Look for future updates from DWSD on these and other water and sewer upgrade projects.
The next project I want to talk about is our OAKMAN Boulevard project. And so the OAKMAN Boulevard project is our largest green stormwater infrastructure project to date. Caused a little bit of consternation and heartburn by a variety of folks because, you know, we dug 15 and 20 feet down in the ground, and it was unlike any large construction that many people had seen in the city in some time or ever. And so I joked, you know, if people were under duress about the reconstruction of Livernois, then, you know, OAKMAN was going to be just as, if not more, of a little bit of a headache for folks in the neighborhood. But it is one of the best projects we have done in some time. It really came from looking at data from the 2014 FEMA flooding that happened in August of 2014. And we could see that there were certain neighborhoods in the city that had basement backups. People had called us about basement backups. And we were trying to understand, okay, well, what's going on in these specific areas? And OAKMAN rose to the surface. Even though there were a lot of large sewers in the neighborhood, it became clear that some of those collector sewers that go to those large trunk sewers really just didn't have the capacity that was necessary for a wet weather event. And so we began working with the neighborhood. We worked with the city and other housing, the housing department and the planning department to figure out what would be the best alternative here. And we came up with a green stormwater infrastructure project in the median in the boulevard. I think one of the most critical things in the city of Detroit is knowing and understanding the city. You know, myself and the director are both Detroit natives. And so I was able to work with our consultants at the time and say, hey, you know, the median here is going to work perfectly to do a project watch. And we were able to make that happen. And so we spent about $9 million transforming 10 medians on OAKMAN Boulevard and making them stormwater green infrastructure projects and practices. And the neighbors really had to have a lot of input here because this is, you know, a boulevard that is beautiful with tree-lined streets and amazing homes. And we wanted them to really engage with us and tell us how they wanted their neighborhood to look. We also placement under this project. And, you know, we have a project that's managing almost 40 million gallons of stormwater annually. So think about taking 40 million gallons of milk and not pouring it down the drain, so to speak. And that's what we're doing here with this project. This project was completed by Blaze, which is a minority construction company minority-owned construction company in the city of Detroit. And nearly 50 Detroit residents worked on this project. And so we're going to play a video now that talks about this project and its impact to the residents in the neighborhoods.
We are excited to unveil the first half of the OAKMAN Boulevard Green Stormwater Infrastructure Project. It is DWSD's largest green stormwater infrastructure project to date, costing $8.6 million, managing 37 million gallons of stormwater every single year. And so today we showed it off for all of the city of Detroit to see. In the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, we are extremely proud of our contractor, Blaze Contracting. They worked weekends and did a lot of work to catch up in terms of schedule. They started 2 months behind due to COVID, and they've done a miraculous job getting us where we are today. I think the residents are excited for it to start finishing up. It is a lot when you're staying in the middle of a construction zone. This was the most intrusive construction project we've done. These medians were excavated down to a depth of 15 plus feet. So that was a lot of dirt to see someone digging out. That was a very deep hole to just peer out your window and see. So I believe residents are very excited that we've gotten through this first step. They were vocal when they had concerns, and we tried to alleviate those concerns as much as possible. This project will be finished at the end of the construction season for 2021. So November of 2021, all of the construction will be done.
So far, I like it. You know, the house was shaking a lot during the summer when they had the backhoes and were doing all the drilling, but it looks nice. The plantings look good, and I'm just hopeful that the bioretention portion of it will alleviate all of that flooding.
Instead of us traveling to Ann Arbor and Rochester or a whole nother city that's an hour away, you know, they designed this program, Access for All, primarily for minorities like myself to get hired or get trained and ready to get into the construction trades. And then from there, I chose to be an operator engineer or a heavy equipment operator. The whole Access for All program, they really changed my life. Like, I can't even give them enough gratitude and appreciation for where I'm at. Literally from where I'm at right now, working here, this is all the news that to me, this is super unexpected. Like, I would have never imagined this, but the fact that I know what this site was like once we started, seeing it, and not seeing the visual evidence that everybody else is witnessing today. This is what really amazes me. It makes you appreciate what you do more.
We had to pause a lot of our contracts. Those of you on the line who have worked with us are very well aware of what we had to do when the pandemic first started to ensure that workers were safe. And so we are continuing to follow the guidelines set forth by the Center for Disease Control and the City of Detroit Health Department. And we are enforcing those requirements under our contracts. Each contractor is required to submit COVID-19 safe workplace standards. And it is approved, reviewed, and comment provided by the city prior to you starting on a job site. Next slide. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Carrie Farina, who's going to talk a little bit about the 2021 construction season, the upcoming projects we have. And then Monica's going to talk about our state revolving fund programs and what the requirements are for those, because we do use other funds other than the Great Lakes Water Authority lease, and we have different requirements for those types of projects. So Carrie, thank you.
Thank you, Palencia. Hi, everyone. I am Carrie Farina. I am with the DWSD Procurement Department. First, before I go into the projects, I'm just going to go over a few things about the DWSD Procurement Department and how to access our solicitation and bidding documents, and a few other items that are requirements of doing business with the Detroit Water and Sewerage Department. So first, I want to point out, though, that DWSD we do have our own procurement department and our own procurement policy. We do a lot of things that are similar and in conjunction with the city of Detroit, but we do also have our own some things that are done differently. So to access RFB, request for bid, request for proposal, solicitation documents, we post everything on the BidNet Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network website, which, thank you, which you may have seen. The shortened version is Mitten. So we do post all of our solicitations on there. You can access all of the documents, if there's drawings, technical specifications, all the forms you need to fill out. And then you will be submitting your bids or proposals electronically through that Mitten BidNet portal. We do not accept anything that is mailed, any hard copies, email, faxed. It has to go through the Mitten or BidNet platform, and it has to be uploaded and submitted prior to the deadline date and time, because as soon as it hits that time in 00 seconds, it will close out and you are not able to, if you're still uploading items, it won't let you move any further. So I just want to make sure that for those that are new and haven't really utilized the Mitten BidNet website, that just to make sure that you do give yourselves enough time when submitting your documents. Don't wait till 5 minutes before the bid deadline, because if you don't submit everything and press that submit button, then we can't accept it. We do not accept late submittals. And so just really, please, we just ask that, give yourself like 30 minutes. You can also start adding documents in advance, like prior to the deadlines, and you can go in and You can revise those, items, even if you've submitted it and the bid deadline has not passed. You can go in and, change out documents or add information, etc. DWSD and the agencies are not able to pull any documents until that bid date and deadline time has passed. So you do need to register for the Mitten website. You can do so for free. There are also some paid options that the difference is if you do pay for a membership, it will automatically send you notices for items that are posted that match the commodity codes of your business that you selected when you registered. So, so that's the big difference. Otherwise, you'll need to go in and check on your own for have any addenda been posted, is anything new out there, and also, there are over 200 agencies in the state of Michigan, or municipalities, governments, authorities that do utilize the Mitten BidNet platform. So not only will you have access to DWSD items, but you will have access to others as well. So that's kind of nice. The other thing that we've kind of changed recently due to COVID is that we've been hosting our pre-bid meetings online or virtually. So I think that's actually kind of worked out really well. We seem to get a bit more attendance. I think it's maybe easier too on the vendor side that you can sit in your car and listen, or do it at your office. You don't have to take time out of your day to drive downtown. So there are call-in options, or you can join via online, and those links and information would be included in each solicitation that is posted. So that's kind of been a new change and has been working out very well. Let's see. Oh, and regarding the pre-bid meetings, we do highly recommend that both prime contractors and any subcontractors do attend those meetings. We do post the sign-in sheets to the Mitten website as well afterwards. So you do have contact information, but just because you're not going to be the prime doesn't mean that, like with the green infrastructure projects, there's, bushes and trees and rocks and stuff being that need to be purchased to complete the work. And it's just not the plumbers and the main plumbing and like water line items that we definitely, there are subcontractors, and it helps to be a part of those pre-bid meetings so you can learn about the project yourself and also make contacts. The next thing I want to talk about is City of Detroit tax clearances. It is a requirement that when you submit your bid, you also submit approved tax clearances through the city of Detroit. And there is an online application that's also, of course, listed in the solicitation documents, but you can either Google city or Detroit clearances and it'll bring up the application page, or there is the link in this presentation here as well. And what you do is you click on your business type. Are you a sole proprietor? Are you a corporation, an LLC, a partnership? And then you will complete that application online for that specific subset. I do want to point out it can take up to 30 days for these applications to be processed. And so I highly recommend that even if you think you don't even have any city contracts right now or DWSD contracts, but if you think that you're going to be interested in bidding on projects, then please, I recommend going in and submitting that application the sooner the better, because it can be a holdup. And then if you don't have it at the time of submitting your bid, then you could be disqualified and not be awarded a contract. So I just want to point that out. And actually you do have to, clearances are awarded on an annual basis. So you do have to keep applying each year, but there is not any cost to apply for the application. But so, yeah, so clearances there, it's definitely, if you even think that you're gonna be doing business with DWSD or the city of Detroit, highly recommend submitting the application. Another thing that's required for DWSD contracts is that you are a part of the Detroit supplier portal. If you've already had a contract with DWSD in like the last five or so years, then you're probably already in the supplier portal and you don't need to re-register, but you will need to have an account so that you can receive your POs and receive your payments. And because all that is done electronically now. Another part of the construction bids is that they are with each contract awarded, DWSD provides one license account to the contractor for each construction contract awarded. And eBuilder is an online construction project management software. So that's where you will be required to submit your invoices and have access to other items that are managing that for that specific contract that you have been awarded. One of the other things I want to talk about is with our construction projects is that we do require bonds. Payment and performance bonds are required for every construction contract. And it's kind of on a case-by-case basis if warranty bonds are required. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware that you will be required to provide these documents should you be awarded a contract with by DWSD. Okay, we can go on to the next slide. Okay, this is what you've all been waiting for. These are the upcoming construction projects for the 2021 construction season. These will all be posted on Mitten. So I recommend, get yourself familiar with the Mitten website, go ahead and register so that you can pull down these documents. So we have a few that are going to be for the sewer improvements. We have GWS-920, which is the inspection, rehab, and replacement of sewers on an as-needed basis. There is sewer condition assessment, large diameter sewer improvements. There's some water improvements and water main replacement and repairs contracts as well. And then there is a PC-808 is for a green stormwater infrastructure, sewer improvements and water main replacement and improvements project. So this is a list of what is coming up in the upcoming year. And that's all that I have. So thank you very much.
We're going to continue with Monica. If you have any questions, we will allow time for questions. But since we are a little delayed on our time, we wanted to keep the presentation moving. So we'll go with Monica. And if there are any questions, we are addressing some in chat. So feel free to continue to write your question in the chat column.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Monica Daniels. I am the Finance Asset Manager for DWSD. I oversee the construction projects and I am part of the approval process for the invoices. And what I want to talk to you today is about the funding for our projects. DWRF, which is a Drinking Water Revolving Fund, and SRF is a State Revolving Fund, are both loans from EGLE, the state of Michigan. And it's a loan to us, and there are federal funds as part of this loan. So it's very important for you to understand that when the bids are put out, that you understand if it's a federally funded project. From EGLE, we have what is called the American Steel Act, where we are required, it's called American Iron and Steel. And we are required to use US produced steel products for our projects, such as the ductile iron water main. We are required to use iron that is made in the US. Next slide. And this is just so you can see, Carrie just showed you a list of the projects. When we produce our capital improvement plan, you can just take a quick look. And these are a list of, this is just an excerpt of that. And you can see the project number. And then the column that's shown here that says source of funds. If you see loan in DWRF or SRF, then that's when you'll know it's a federally funded source. It also may be somewhere in the documents that you can see that as well. But I wanted to highlight, if you're looking at our CIP and wondering what you're going to bid for, that you understand what it means when you see a DWRF or SRF funded project. Again, as part of the requirement, this just gives a little more detail about the American Steel requirement. And then one of the important factors when we use federal dollars is the Davis-Bacon Act, where you will be required to submit certified payrolls. The contractor, and it's actually the contractor and subcontractor, anyone performing labor on the project will be required to meet the Davis-Bacon Act. It's up to the contractor to make sure that their subcontractors are following along. And this would include someone like a trucker hauling away the gravel, or, you know, when you break up the street, it would also be required that they meet the sort of, Davis-Bacon Act. So the contractor is responsible for paying the employees the prevailing wage on a weekly basis. I will provide you an example later of how to determine what that wage is. You have to submit the certified payrolls. It is a condition on receiving payment. So if you submit a payment this month, then the previous month you'll have to provide your certified payroll. You have to post the wage determinations at your work site. That way any individual performing labor can double check to make sure that their payroll does meet that requirement. And you are required to keep a copy of all your payroll information for at least 3 years in case there's any complaints or an audit. This slide is telling you a little more about the certified payrolls. The form WH-347, you can get that from the State of Michigan website, and I will add that website to the presentation before it's posted. So you can see it's probably in a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet where you put down your employee's name, their work classification, and how many hours they worked in. It's just like your payroll information and what their gross pay is. What I want to highlight for you here is the apprentice, because there's a lot of confusion about what an apprentice is. An apprentice is someone that is in a state recognized apprenticeship program. What apprentice is not is someone hiring their son or nephew to come in and do the work at half the rate or whatever rate you feel is necessary to pay them. That is not considered an apprentice in the Davis-Bacon Act. You will be challenged on it, and you will be required to compensate someone that you don't pay appropriately. Overtime is another issue that you have to be careful about how overtime is determined. There are some work classifications that overtime is determined by the daily hours worked, not just meeting the 40 hours. So it's very important to understand each work classification and when overtime applies. This is an example of the Davis-Bacon and the wage requirements. When DWSD puts out a project for bid, and it is a a Davis-Bacon Act requirement, we will also provide what the rates are so that your rates would be included in your price. So my example here is, this is a power equipment operator, and you'll see that there are 4 different groups, and you just have to look to see what is that person performing. For example, group 1 is a backhoe or excavator operator. And then if you look at the rate, you'll see the 3588 is the rate and the $24.85 is the fringes. So that means if you add those two together, that at a minimum, that person should be paid $60.73. And what we're saying is that you can put the fringes, that's part of their package. It may not be cash in their pocket, but it does have to be part of the package for that employee. I know there are some that have retirement or 401ks, and anything that the employer puts into a 401k on behalf of the employee will be considered part of that employee's rate. So I just wanted to give this an example so you can understand if you're paying someone cash, then that person would have to make $60.73. And please believe that once those rates are posted, employees do call and they do make complaints, and DWSD is required to follow up on it to make sure that the person is compensated properly, and you will have to resolve any issues or any complaints that are presented to DWSD for wage requirements. A lot of times we hear you hire a subcontractor and that subcontractor says, well, I didn't know anything about it. It is in the bid documents. It is stated, the rates are stated. If you're not sure where your work classification is, then you need to ask a question. You can also call the Michigan Department of Labor and they can help you assess what work classification your work is in. But it's very important that the prime contractor and all subcontractors understand when it's a Davis-Bacon project that those wages apply and those employees need to be paid that. And if any complaints are submitted, they will have to be resolved, or unfortunately, we would have to deduct from your pay estimate. And okay, that was it for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. We see those questions coming in and we are taking a tally of them, and they will be either addressed in the chat or we will get them answered after our presentation. So thank you. Keep them coming. Our next presentation will be by Amanda Saab and Tanika Griggs from the Office of Civil Rights, Inclusion, and Equality. Ladies.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to be a part of this virtual conference and hopefully provide you guys with some information that will benefit you and hopefully help earn you some contracts. I run the Detroit Business Opportunity Program, DBOP. Yep, perfect. Go to the next slide. So kind of overview of our program is we certify businesses in Detroit-based business, Detroit headquartered business, Detroit resident business, micro businesses, small businesses, as well as minority and joint ventures. And I had seen there was a question about, like, you know, I'm a smaller contractor, how do I get contracts? So we'll get into that. But kind of our overview of our department is to provide excellent service to all who live, work, or play or do business in Detroit, advocating for inclusion and increased opportunities, resulting in a positive impact for the city. So the goal of the DBOP program, the Detroit Business Opportunity Program, is to increase and promote growth for Detroit businesses through visibility. We have that on our website. All of our certified businesses, other businesses, especially larger businesses, out-of-state businesses that are looking for Detroit-based businesses, will have access to this database. It's a public database. So visibility on the city's website, capacity building and network expansion while increasing Detroit businesses to be the driving force in Detroit's economy. This is Tanika.
Hey everyone, I am Tanika Griggs. I am the Incentives Compliance Manager for CREO, and I monitor Executive Order 2014-5 and 2016-1. Executive Order 2014-5 is basically it's a policy that the city uses to encourage and increase the utilization of Detroit certified businesses. And what that means is that 30% of the total dollar values on city contracts should be awarded to Detroit-based businesses. As far as Executive Order 2016-1 goes, this is a requirement for contracts that are over $3 million. Construction contracts, they're required to have at least 51% of their workforce on the contract to be Detroit residents. This project is triggered under this executive order, and they must report to this department monthly. So on the 15th of every month, we receive reports from contractors, and in those reports, they include certified payrolls, proofs of those Detroit residents, and a summary of step workers and Detroit employees. The reason for this is we just want to ensure that there are Detroit residents on these projects. If there is a shortfall in those numbers and the 51% is not met, then the contractor is required to pay into the Workforce Contribution Fund. And what this fund does is basically just provides placement, search, training, and career advisement for those who are interested in, Detroit residents who are interested in these training programs. And if you have any questions in regards to the monitoring of Executive Order 2016-1 or Executive Order 2014-5, you can send me an email. My email address is Tenika, TENIKA, .griggs, GRIGGS, @detroitmi.gov. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanika. So as I had mentioned previously, in my program, DBOP, we issue our business certifications. And this is a rundown of all the different options you have when applying for your business certification. DBB, we use a lot of acronyms just to make it easy. But you can take a look at this, and this will be available for you guys to review at a later point in time. Go to the next slide. So the benefits of why you would want to be certified is you earn equalization credits on your bid, and this will help ensure that you have a better chance of earning a bid if you are a Detroit-based business, Detroit resident business, joint ventures and mentor ventures as well get equalization credits on that. So this is kind of the process of what you need with your application. It's all done online. It's been online for a while, but this is what we need. An affidavit, you can get that notarized at your bank or even digitally, virtually now. If you're applying for a Detroit headquartered business, we need a roster of who on your executive team is working in Detroit. Your most recent federal tax returns, copy of your most recent lease or deed demonstrating that you've been in the city of Detroit for at least 1 year prior to applying. And Carrie had been talking earlier about tax clearances. So you don't need it at this point in time when you're applying for a certification with DBOP, but you will need it when you submit your contract. So I always encourage people, when you're applying for your certification, go ahead and apply for your tax clearances so everything is kind of aligned and ready to go when you're ready to submit your package. Next slide. And the program cost for certification is a sliding scale fee. So it's based on how much your gross tax return was for the previous year. Next, please. So how we ensure inclusion and equity. So access to capital. A lot of our events and things have been changing and evolving due to COVID. So if we're, talking about PPE and having someone from the SBA of Michigan helping people work through application questions, that sort of thing, connecting to additional resources, we send out newsletters. This is now going to be under the umbrella of Detroit Means Business. So I highly encourage you to check that out as well. Relationship building as well as marketing on our social media platforms. If you have any questions, I don't know if my email is on there because it's blocked. It's not, but you can visit our site within DetroitMI.gov, and then it's Civil Rights Department, but you can also email me directly if you have questions about applying for a certification. My email address is my name. It's Amanda, AMANDA .saab, SAAB, @DetroitMI.gov. I'm happy to help you work through any questions you have about certification. Thank you guys so much for hosting this and for giving us the opportunity to talk about certifying businesses. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And if you can put your email address along with Tanika's in the chat for the panel for all of the attendees, I think that would be helpful as well. Our next presentation will come from Workforce Development, and that's Mr. Omar Hassan.
Thank you, Tiffany. Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. My name is Omar Hassan. I am with Detroit at Work, which is the city's workforce agency. And, our primary goal is to help Detroit residents gain employment within the city. But obviously we also work with employers such as yourselves that are looking to hire Detroiters. As you just heard from the CREO department, there are some, ordinances around keeping and hiring Detroit employees on your rosters. And so, if you aren't compliant, there's a very good chance that CREO will refer you to us. But in an effort to kind of get ahead of that, I encourage you to, reach out to me. And if you have any immediate needs, we can definitely work with you. The slide that you're looking at now just kind of gives you a very high level overview of the services that we offer. I think our most compelling offer, resources are that, we have 8 career centers throughout the city, right? So we're very connected to all the job seekers within the city that are looking for employment. And so if you have specific needs and specific skills, we can, filter through our databases and help you identify candidates. We also have training programs that are ongoing throughout the city throughout the year. And so we always have graduates coming out of those training programs that are obviously looking for employment. And, we can match them with you and, do some of the work for you as far as pre-screening, if that's something that you need, or send resumes directly to you. We're very flexible in the services we offer. If you do have customized needs for your jobs, please reach out to me and we can discuss those on a case-by-case basis. There are definitely a lot of resources that we're able to take advantage of. And so I want to make sure I get a very good understanding of what it is you need and how we can be most helpful. You can see my email information at the bottom of this, but I'll drop it in the chat as well. I encourage you to reach out to me if you do have any questions, and I'll stop there.
Thank you so much. One question that I do want to acknowledge for everyone is that this workshop is being recorded, and we will have the recording posted on our website. So the presentation as well as this recording will be available. Next, we're going to end our screen share and bring up labor union representatives Chris Phillips, John Hartwell, and Lee Graham.
We're super honored to be here and be partnered as far as getting reached out to. The representation of the operating engineers. This is our 124th year as an organization. So international wide, we have 430,000 plus operating engineers across the United States and Canada. So what's exciting is one of the projects that's been named already as far as the Gordie Howe Bridge. That's just one of our common opportunities. So when you think about operating engineers, we have roughly about 14,000 operating engineers in the state of Michigan, from Marquette to Monroe. The operating engineers, the pictures that you had listed, and our employers that are in the previous presentations with excavators and dozers. You think about the new autonomous spider cranes and drones and compaction machines, and let alone the GPS and all the technology that's in and around the paving machines for our roads and also our infrastructure. So like I say, my name is Lee Graham. I'm the executive director for the operating engineers with our labor management division. And what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to turn it over to Chris Phillips to talk about just the opportunities in and around the city of Detroit with our stationary side and projects.
Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Phillips. I'm a business representative of the operating engineers. I work out of the Detroit location of 1550 Howard Street. We do a lot of work in the city of Detroit. Our members are all over the place. Stationary side, which are training centers there in Detroit. They're the men and women that work at the Little Caesars Arena, all the major buildings downtown. They service, do HVAC. They're all over the place. And we also have members over at Little Caesars Arena, or I'm sorry, the Wayne County Jail site that's going up downtown. The Hudson site, you guys might have seen the towers, the tower cranes up there. That's getting ready to get off the ground and get in the air so we can see it. We have, I mean, just too many projects to name, but you know, one of our main focuses is getting Detroiters to work through programs that we partner with Access for All, Detroit Workforce of the Future, trying to get high schoolers introduced to the trades. We're definitely on the forefront of trying to bring this home for the city of Detroit. So with that, I will turn it over to John Hartwell.
Good evening. So we do represent DOL, Department of Labor Registered Apprenticeship. So qualifying for the Davis-Bacon, that's our apprentices. We run several different apprenticeship programs. We run a heavy equipment operator program, but we also run a stationary program out of our training facility in Detroit for building maintenance, HVAC, and boiler control. I'm going to talk mostly about our heavy equipment operator program that goes hand in hand with the sewer and underground pieces. When an apprentice comes into our program, we offer a hoisting program, which is everything to do with cranes and anything hoisting. We offer a civil program that's everything to do with underground digging, excavators. Both programs are 3-year programs in length. 6,000 hours to complete them. They are a true earn while you learn model. Apprentices start out at 70% of what a journey person would make every 1,000 hours that they're in our program, provided they're working towards their training with us at one of our training facilities. They'll receive a 5% increase in pay. So as they go through the program, they're becoming more valuable for the contractor. Their pay is increasing. How much money does it cost an apprentice to come through an apprenticeship program like ours? It's free to anybody that qualifies. It is truly an earn while you learn model. Apprentices generally start out around $20 an hour at 70%, work their way up. Our other program, somebody has to maintain all of this heavy equipment that you see on the job sites, is a heavy equipment technician program, a diesel mechanic program. This is a 4-year program. 8,000 hours to complete it, 800 training hours in the program. So apprentices will spend at least 5 weeks a year with us at one of our training facilities. We make it as convenient as possible. We give them a per diem to come in and train, put them up in a hotel room if they have to travel for some specialized training, things like that. So 3 very good programs, Department of Labor registered, very good place to start. And with that, I'm going to hand it to Mr. Graham.
On behalf of the operating engineers, LMEC, what we want to bring to you today is we share this picture with you, so the graduation of the students, but mostly we want to be able to talk to you about these programs that are listed below in our outreach. And what I'm going to start off with, I'd like to share it over back to John Hartwell on the Detroit Workforce of the Future. If you could give us an update.
Yeah, Detroit Workforce of the Future has been a very successful program, pre-apprenticeship that we've been involved with. This is a picture of Detroit Workforce of the Future here, drawing high school students, juniors and seniors from several of the high schools within Detroit, bringing them in to get a taste of all the trades. So it's all the trades combined, the registered apprenticeships, working on it along with our contractors, or along with the contractors, to give these students a real taste of the industry. We actually just did some recruiting at Osborne High School today, and it's amazing. It's an amazing program. I can't speak enough about it, but it's just some of the efforts that are going on out there to make sure that students know that these opportunities are there, they're in their city, and they're real.
So I'd like to share over to Chris Phillips, if you just share about Access for All, if you could, please.
Yeah, so Access for All, it's a 13-week program. It's for anyone that's 18 years or older, and it gives them a chance to take a snapshot of the trade, to get a dive in and see if it's right for them. I believe they get their OSHA 30, and one of the major pieces is our graduation piece. They actually simulate a job, and we'll get equipment out there, and different trades get involved, and they get to actually do a work site for 1 week and show up on time. We check to see if they're punctual, who's the leader, and really bring out different contractors to have them take a look and see if it's a good fit. So I believe the placement rate is up there around 65-70%. So we're really doing good things. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. So talking about visions for prosperity, what we're able to do is we're able to look at the Access for All model. We were able to brand that across the state of Michigan over to Kalamazoo and Battle Creek. So you look at 8 years ago when we were able to come together with DESC and Jobs for Michigan Graduates, and also the construction and building trades, the city of Detroit, and Omar that's on with us today, you know, through the city, they supported Access for All right out of the gate. And so it's been super exciting to work with, but we've been able to continue to brand across the state just on models that were born out of the city of Detroit, which is super exciting. So we ask ourselves, you know, with the construction career days we host every year, almost 3,500 to 4,000 students from 7th to 12th graders out in Howell, Michigan. And so they'll come in from Benton Harbor, Detroit, Gaylord, Michigan. They come across from the whole state. The counselors, the superintendents, our contractors that donate all the equipment to really make an opportunity around STEM and construction and engineering. And then one of our most favorites too, as well, as you're going to see a little sneak peek today, as long as our video plays, is of the Construction Science Expo. This is our 10th anniversary down at the Science Center there in Detroit. And so we would like to be able to share that video with you and just be able to see what happens when you can bring almost 1,000 Detroiters from 7th to 12th grade together about engineering and construction.
Skilled trades is college without the debt. You can make a great living and have a great career. You can ultimately own your own contracting company.
Whether it's engineering, or whether it's skilled trades, I mean, there are shortages across the board. So we have to get young people excited so that they can continue to live that American dream.
Right now, with these kids as young as they are, I think it's really important to plant that seed in their imagination as to what engineers can do and what operators can do and what the skilled trades can do.
Here we are in the Michigan Science Center, the place where I started my career, the place where I learned about the trade that I'm in right now. I really recommend it to kids.
Well, with all of the construction going on in Detroit, there are going to be thousands of construction jobs for 10, 20 years, just with the things we already have in the pipeline.
So thank you for being able to get that to play. That's really just the testimony on just us partnering with a lot of great organizations and making it possible to showcase these careers. So thank you for the opportunity today.
That was awesome. Thank you for your participation in this year's event. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our last presentation, and then I promise we'll answer some questions for the afternoon, is we would like to spotlight one of our contractors, Major Cement, will be coming forward to give you just a background on their capabilities and who and how they would like to partner with some of you even. We have Michael Scapacini, hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's the project manager for Major Cement. If we can have his slide, Joanne, brought up, and the floor is yours, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. I appreciate DWSD inviting me to speak today. A little bit about Major Cement. Major Cement Company has been working with DWSD since 1978. We're a union contractor. We're part of the Operator Engineers 324, also the Finishers and 1191. Major Cement started off by doing concrete and asphalt restoration for DWSD. Since we've grown to now we're installing pipe, doing sewer repairs, doing the lead services and just the regular services, and general contracting several of these projects. DWSD is now one of our biggest customers to date. So we have several projects with DWSD right now, and we're constantly looking for good, reliable subcontractors, specifically subcontractors that are Detroit-based, Detroit headquartered, and subcontractors that can help us with fulfilling the 51% Detroit resident goal. Subcontractors are committed to hiring Detroit residents. Some areas that we use subcontractors are our services, the public side and the private side. And trucking's a big one, and also soft surface restoration. We use subcontractors in other areas of our work, but those are the main ones. If anyone's interested in connecting with myself and Major Cement Company for some potential opportunities to work with us, we're happy to hear from you. My email is Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, @majorcementco.com. Or you can just email that general mailbox, which is admin@majorcementco.com. I've created some good connections at the previous DWSD conferences, so I look forward to who I'm going to hear from this one. And I just want to thank DWSD again for inviting us to speak and also being such a great customer. Thank you.
Awesome. And our final segment is questions and our closing from our Deputy Director, Palencia Mobley. Denise, I know you were taking questions. Are there any that you see that were not answered in the chat that you would like Palencia to answer?
Yes, Tiffany, there was a question that came. If you can please also talk about the opportunity where small contractors can be a part of the water replacement program and grow to handle larger contracts.
Thank you, Tiffany. So, thank you, Denise, and thank you, Tiffany. Really quickly, Mike from Major just gave his contact information out. If you see opportunities that you think we have forthcoming, many of our contractors are always looking for subs. So if you're not ready to prime a job, you may be able to partner with existing contractors, and that information is readily available in terms of which contractors and vendors have contracts with DWSD. But even further, we are looking at other ways in which we can create smaller contracts that allow smaller vendors to participate. And so we're, looking through how we can make that happen in ways in which it makes sense, in that it's also cost effective, but also effective from a time management perspective. So we are looking at that. I think a great majority of the questions were answered in the chat. I see there's a lot of conversation that's happening in the chat, and that's great. After this, we'll make sure that information is provided. I think we have a roster that we provide that shows, which companies were here, what the contact information is. And I think what's important for you as a small business is to have, you know, a portfolio. What type of work do you do? It's not enough to say, hi, I'm Valencia and I'm an engineer. Well, what kind of engineer am I? What do I do? And so you need a resume of sorts. Where's your project cut sheet that shows the varying projects that you've done? Because that's what gives someone their first impression of you, that you're about business and, you know, that you know what you're doing. So that also is critical for you as a small vendor. But we are looking at ways to create some smaller opportunities, and they just have to be ways that make sense. I think this past year has shown us the importance of equity and appreciating those who are not always the majority. There's a lot to be learned. I know personally several people who have created partnerships from, as Mike said, coming to the meeting last year and have gone on to do great work together. You know, it's not enough to just be a Detroit-based business on paper or a minority-owned business on paper, but not employ residents of the city of Detroit to perform the work, or not actively engage in programming and opportunities that allow Detroiters to rebuild their city. This is a personal commitment of mine. We're in the final stages of executing a memorandum of understanding with Randolph to start a utility worker for water and sewer pilot program there, so we can begin recruiting our next field services technicians that repair our water and sewer infrastructure. But as you heard today from the operating engineers, there are a vast majority of ways in which you can get involved and provide opportunity to a young person and provide opportunity to a Detroiter. That Detroit Workforce for the Future program is remarkable. I know several contractors who have been able to get staff from there. And I think the OAKMAN Boulevard video, this is not the one we showed, but we have another video that we'll be putting online where a young man, you know, from the neighborhood talks about how great it was to be able to construct a project in his neighborhood and to not have to drive an hour to work, but to be able to drive 15, 20 minutes and get to work. These are the things that matter to folks. And as we go through this next year of this pandemic, we're going to be locked up again. You know, we still can't leave the house. We're still going to be in a place where we really can't leave the house for some time. This has shown you the importance of community and building relationship. And so we want to use this opportunity and grow from this opportunity and create access for all Detroiters. That is paramount for me. That is paramount for the director. You know, we will not have done our jobs if there are not small businesses that have grown as part of this. And please know that DWSD is just a small piece in the overall pie that is government contracting and government opportunities. There's a wealth of opportunity available at the Great Lakes Water Authority. We'll be working with them, understanding what they're doing around some of their equity programming, and then at large with the city of Detroit. So we want you to know that we're committed. And it's not just lip service. It's not just talking. It's not just us giving presentations. This is real for us. You know, myself and one of my staff members, high executive level staff person, we're the people that are going to teach these courses, because we also think it's important for people to see someone who in essence has made it, if that's the way you want to describe it, giving back and showing what can be done and showing that we have a vested interest in growing talent. And so we're excited about where DWSD is going and where the city of Detroit is going, but it's going to take commitment and it's going to take doing the hard work. It's not about, you know, like I like to say, you know, having a piece of paper that says you're a Detroit-based business. Who works for that Detroit-based business? And what are you doing to ensure a workforce for the future? There will, you know, people who do labor won't be doing labor until their 60s and 70s and 80s. So what are we doing to create the next workforce? And that's the question you should ask yourself as a small business. What can you do? And even as a larger business, what can you do to create the next workforce? We know what we're going to do here as a department, and we look forward to seeing what you do and hope that we can partner with you on varying opportunities as they come up to create Detroit's next workforce. So with that, I am done speaking. If there are questions that we didn't answer, we will answer them as we put out the contractor newsletter that summarizes this presentation. Thank you all so much for spending your time with us. Thank you all for bearing with our technical difficulties. Of course, we did a run through yesterday and none of this happened. And my staff know, and the staff know how I am, and I'm, over here itching, wanting to drive the boat, and, it's not my turn to drive the boat. So, thank you all for your patience. Sometimes you get a buffering issue at 4 o'clock that you don't have at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and vice versa. And we hope you all are staying safe and continuing to implement COVID-19 safe work practices so that we can minimize any more downtime and we can keep everyone working until we successfully transition this government. So thank you all and have a good evening.